All right, good morning, family. Thank you for being here. It's been a very interesting 24 hours. Mike Pence had a little buddy on stage with him last night, and his little buddy has become a social media star. I want to introduce to you Musca Domestica this morning, a.k.a. the Common Housefly. We'll talk about it. Hey, he's just doing what he do, y'all. He's just doing what he do. Did you get a chance to watch any of the debate last night? If so, what was your impression? Will it impact your vote? We'll get started in about 90 seconds. I want to give you some time to please like and in particular share today's show. If you're on Facebook, please share today's show. If you're on YouTube, please share today's show. Nathan Ivey Show is Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community. We were first, remember that. And we're still here connecting with people and breaking things down in a way that only we can, all right? Live, local, and vocal. We'll start in about 90 seconds, folks. About 90 seconds. Don't go anywhere. All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Nathan Ivey in the air chair. Finish this sentence. Flies like to land on fill in the blank. I know there were very many members of the Chop Shop last night, of the audience last night that tuned in. We had just shy of about 1,000 people that watched last night's Black VP debate watch party with me. It was a good time. Well over 1,000 comments. People were very, 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 if you want to call it, talkative. A lot of conversation last night. And that stream is still up on my Facebook page, The Nathan Ivey Show. But again, I want to give you a moment to like and share today's show. And we'll kick things off here in about 15 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Jill Schiller has been missing in action, and now we know why. Did you know that Jill Schiller, candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, got away with a dangerous offense? Her friends and connections at Cincinnati City Hall turned their heads when she was racing through a Cincinnati public school zone doing 52 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. She could have killed a child. As a mother of 3, that's concerning. 25,000 children are injured each year because of speeding in a school zone. 100 children are killed in school zones each year by people like Schiller. Schiller should have served 5 days in jail as the law states. But being privileged kept her out while you, the public, would have gone to jail. Her friends and connections at City Hall only fined her $60, and they quickly destroyed the evidence the next day. We cannot trust Schiller with our school children. Should we trust her to protect and safeguard our tax dollars? Vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. We can trust him to safeguard our tax dollars and our children.
Paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson. More calls for reparations. California recently assigned a task force to study the issue, and Durham, North Carolina has passed a resolution calling for the federal government to grant reparations to the descendants of enslaved Africans and African Americans. Well, targeting Black joblessness could keep the Fed rate low. A Bloomberg economics analysis finds targeting reductions in the Black unemployment rate would lead the Fed to keep interest rates near zero for at least 5 years. The Black jobless rate has been much higher than the overall unemployment rate since 1972. Currently, the Black jobless rate stands at 12.1%. The national rate is at 7%. And Comcast has promoted Dahlia Wilson-Scott to Executive Vice President and Chief Diversity Officer. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. One man, one microphone, one mission. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Glad to be with you. On today's show, I want to talk about numerous things, but I want to kick things off by just talking about my observations from last night's VP debate. In case you missed it or in case you actually got a chance to view it, you may or may not know that there's a couple things that have been really trending big since that debate. One is the very hilarious and very insightful looks of Kamala Harris. Hey, you know, this is the age of the internet. People focus on different things. It may not be what you think they're to focus on. It is what it is. You got to roll with the flow of some of these things. And also the fact that the VP Mike Pence had a little buddy with him last night, who was, I guess he was giving him some show prep, some debate prep. Before we get too deep into the show, I want you to like and in particular share today's show. Good morning to you. This is hilarious. Shout out to Alicia. She posted this inside the Friends page. What is this? 12 facial expressions of Kamala Harris. This is hilarious. Oh, man. Let's start here, shall we? I think this is a great way to start. Hey, look at me. Where's my manners? Let me take this off. Let me invite you into the show. Yeah, here we are. Good morning. Welcome to the show. This is my home studio. This is what I do every day. This is where I really live. Good morning to you. How are you? Welcome back. Let me see here. Let me get straight into this. This is hilarious. I think it was hilarious. You might not find it hilarious. I've got a different sense of humor. I 100% admit that. I am right now inside the Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivey Show. Within the last 24 hours, we had about maybe a dozen people that just joined that group. I've got big plans for that group. Among other things, I look at that group as like a focus group. I mean, you know what you get with the head of the title of the group. You know, it's a lot of people that listen to my show. Hopefully we're all friends. We can always agree to disagree. But as we bring more programs online with CDM, that's Send Digital Media, the missions that amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond, I want to use that. I want to go to you, the people that support me first. Behind closed doors, that's the private group. A lot of folks don't know about it. I like it that way for right now. I thought about starting some public groups, and yeah, you'll see that very, very soon. But for now, I know that the people inside that group are people that rock with me, that heard about the show. Please feel free to invite your friends to that show, because I'm going to use that on some levels. That's not entirely what it is. But one of the things I want to do is I'm going to be broadcasting live directly and exclusively into that group with live streams, videos that'll just be there. I'm not going to post them anywhere else or share them anywhere else. You can do what you want to do. But I want to connect directly with the people inside that group. I see that as a very, very valuable tool and a very, very valuable way of connecting. Hey, thank you so much for the share, Ashley. I'll say it again. You're a very valuable way of connecting with the audience. I'll say it again. Your shares mean everything. Statistically, on my end, the numbers of the show, the views of the show go up when you share. As simple as that. When you share, people see it. So if you're here on a regular basis, perhaps I'm doing something that you like. And if that's true, then don't be selfish, man. Don't hog the show. Don't hog the floor for yourself. Share with your friends and family as we expand what we do here on the show. We grow every single day. We grow every single day. Viva la Chapas. Viva la team and I. Viva the people that rock with me. I rock with you. Good morning to you. Hey, Fast Pitch, thank you so much. Hey, Teresa, thank you so much for the shares. Appreciate your shares. Mean everything. Your shares, they mean everything. Everything. I don't know everybody on Facebook. I'm not in every group. And even if you see like, oh, okay, somebody's already, hey, thank you so much, Rachel. Somebody's already shared it. It doesn't matter. Share it anyway into that group, because what happens, it becomes a multiplier effect. And for the people in that group, they're like, what the hell is this? Damn, and then what's going to happen? They're going to click on the button. That's what we want right now. That's what we're looking for. All right. Appreciate you. 513-873-7134. Before we get too deep in the show, I want to remind you, coming up today at 1 p.m. on Facebook, another great episode of Midday Juice is back with Ask Ashley. She goes live at 1 p.m. We'll be doing it live from the Facebook, Send Digital Media's Facebook page. Okay, at 1 p.m. today. It works real simple. You know, people in her audience send her questions about life, love, whatever, and she answers in her own very humorous, but very, very, I think she gives good insights in her own way. So that's Ask Ashley at Midday Juice today at 1 p.m. We need something in midday. I'm looking to do more programs during the midday. As far as I'm concerned, the city of Cincinnati, there's a big vacuum. When I go off the air, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care who's on. When I go off the air, as far as I'm concerned, there's a big vacuum in terms of unfiltered, real black voices. I know there's people out there in the terrestrial world, and that's great. You have multiple choices. But for me, that represents an opportunity, and I want to fill that space. So again, I put the call out again. If you are a black creative, if you are a creative person in general, hit me with a DM. Perhaps we can work together. Perhaps you're already doing a podcast or a live stream, or you got a great idea. Perhaps we can amplify your voice. In fact, I think we can. All right. That's later on today. Don't miss it. You don't want to miss that. How many people got a chance to watch the Is It Just Me podcast from last week? If you haven't, that show is still relevant. It still has legs. Donnie B, black female lawyer, who actually last night hosted the NAACP Prince Hall Masons Town Hall virtual forum last night. I caught the tail end of it, but I thought she did a very excellent job as always. Well, she does a podcast. It's called the Is It Just Me podcast. Have you ever looked at the world, the crazy mixed up world we live in, and just thought to yourself, is it just me? Well, if so, you're not alone. So has Donnie B. She goes live on Fridays at 12:30 p.m. from CDM's Facebook page. We ain't playing no games. You know, we will amplify black voices in the greater Cincinnati area. And with your help, we can do it even faster. Okay, we can build even faster. And to that aim, as I said, you know, I am crowdfunding, you know, for the project. I'm using Patreon. You can go to my website, nathanivey.com, IVEY, and click on the support tab. Hey, check out my t-shirt. You like this? Yeah, you already know. Go to the support tab, and you can either make a one-time donation or you can make a commitment to join the mission on a monthly basis. 100% of what you donate goes 100% back into the project, 100%. And we are just getting started. Wait until you see what we do next. COVID-19 ain't stopping nothing. It ain't stopping Nathan at all. Good morning to you. Again, 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts, you can see my number there on the screen. Hey, good morning to you. Lots of things to talk about. Let's talk about, we'll talk about Mike Pence's little buddy in a second. We'll talk about his buddy in a second. But first, I want to go to the friends page. Look at this meme right here. I'm all about this. This is hilarious. What is this? What is this right here? If you see, there it is. I can make it even bigger on the screen. That is hilarious right there. Did you get a chance to watch it? Kamala was making a whole lot of hilarious faces. She was. It was hilarious. I mean, and Mike Pence was telling some humdingers. To say it very politely, he was lying his ass off to keep it 100% unfiltered with you. Excuse my language to the babies out there. It's all about the babies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The 12 facial expressions of Kamala Harris. Let's read this. Number 1, please. Number 2, really? Matter of fact, let me do it this way because it'll be more visual pleasing. I'll just do it this way. Good morning to you. Hey, good morning. Good morning. I love being one of the first people to say good morning to you here in the greater Cincinnati area. And, you got voices, but they're not local voices. I'm in Cincinnati every single day. Born and raised. Ain't going nowhere. Let me see. Yeah, this is hilarious. Yeah. Okay, so number 1 is please. I can see that. Number 2 is really. Number 3, did y'all hear that lie? Number 4, motherfucker. Number 5, sorry, not sorry, hilarious. 6, I see that train attack fly on your head. Now, that was Mike Pence's little buddy. They had a little micro transmitter attached to the thorax of that little housefly. And he was feeding Donald Trump was feeding Mike Pence all of his lines. That's what I think anyway. Either that or it's just a housefly doing what houseflies do, or flies doing what flies do. They like to land on, Number 7, say that now. Number 8, wow. Number 9, moderator, are you going to moderate? Listen, if you want the moderator to moderate, you got to give the moderator the tools. I don't care who you are. You can have the strongest constitution and be the smartest person in the world. But if you don't have the ability to cut the mic, then you ain't got no power, period. You cannot stop grown people from doing what grown people want to do. You can't stop them. That's the reason why, if you look at terrestrial radio, when people call in cussing with that nonsense, what do? They cut you off. They use their power. And so if we want these moderators to have control, then you got to give them the whip. Give them the ability to crack the whip. I didn't hear it, but I saw it in the comments. But from what I understand, they used it last night with the NAACP forum. Great. It ain't disrespectful. It's called control. That's it. It's called control. Simple as that. We got Drop on the line. Hey, Drop, hold on 1 second, brother, and we'll bring you straight on, okay? Okay, cool. We got Drop there. Drop's on the line. It's called control, and it's not about abusing it. It's about using it so that the audience gets what the audience needs out of it. Because other than that, it becomes a very unpleasing, experience, and nobody wants that. Where we at? What do you think about the moderator? I give her I like the questions, number 1. I like the questions. My only problem is that black voters were completely left out. The issues that matter to us were completely ignored again. They do the same thing every 4 years at these debates. Whatever the latest outrage was in terms of police brutality as it relates to non-white people, that becomes the topic du jour throughout the entire debates. There's no conversation about black entrepreneurs. There's no conversation about black wealth building. There's no conversation about, student loan debt relief for black females who we know are carrying more of that burden than any other demographic in America. There's no conversation about that. There's no conversation about net neutrality, which impacts black creatives. There's no conversation about affordable housing. There's no conversation about increasing wages. They think that because they asked a question about Breonna Taylor, that's supposed to deal with it. Now, is that fair, unfair as a black voter to expect more. You got damn right it's fair. You better believe it's fair. Because if you listen to Bloomberg, you got a lot of smart people doing studies out there. And study after study after study after study shows that this country, our economy, businesses in general will do better if we can lift the plight of black folks, period. It is it's undeniable, unassailable, right? It's irresistible. All the uns. This country and this city of Cincinnati will never reach its potential until we close those critical gaps as it relates to non-white folks. It is what it is, family. It is what it is. Deal with it or don't deal with it. That's what it is. Number 10, shut the fuck up. STFU. 11, God bless you, little tink tink. That's hilarious. Number 12, interrupt one more time and see what happens. Interrupt one more time. Thought that was hilarious. The many faces of Kamala Harris from last night. I don't know. You can share your thoughts if you like to. 513-873-7134. Again, please like and in particular share today's show. Your shares mean everything. They mean absolutely everything. Let me jump inside the chop shop. Jericho writes, hola, beautiful black people, and the others too. Cruther writes, good morning, choppers. Jericho writes, 7:30 CP time, huh? See, look at you with your jokes. Ray writes, grand risings all. Ayatollah writes, good morning, hashtag alt middle. Kamala got that work last night. Don't at me. Okay. Brenda writes, happy Thursday. Ayatollah Flomania. That's hilarious. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning. Where's my chopper theme music? We back to that. Where we at? Give me 1 second here. Got so many clips. There we go. Oh, get to the chopper! Got all kind of clips. We got AB. Yeah, that's Adrian Broner right there. Iris Rowley writes, good morning, great people. Good to see you. NBA boy writes, we had a national political debate on national TV and a regular housefly emerges as a star ? And you wonder why hashtag alt middle is here for the children? If 40 and 50-year-olds are diluting social media with fly puns, what the baby's going to do? You are immersed. You complete hypocrite because you brought up last night in the stream. Hypocrite, stop. And that's the nature of the internet. Don't please let me disabuse this real quick. Let me break this down. Let's not act like because the internet is doing what the internet does, that somehow people didn't focus on the substance of the debate. This is just a whimsical sidebar. Nothing more than that. Please stop. Man, these self-righteous mofos, stop being so damn self-righteous. All right, let me go to the phones because we got an early call, and I value each and every call here on the show. Let's go straight to the phones and say good morning. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show. Oh, I think I got him muted. Hold on 1 second here. Let me unmute the brother. Here we go. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump out there real quick and just throw out something. I've been hearing a lot of black people make comments about.
Hey, brother, we can barely hear you, man. You sound very, very muffled.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That sounds a little bit better. What's your name?
Right.
Say one time. I couldn't make that out.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Just real quick, I just wanted to throw this out here. I've heard a lot of black people say that these debates are never geared towards black people. And I think one of the reasons for that is because of black media. A lot of our black media is catered towards entertainment and gossip. If our black media was shift towards some of the news-oriented, informational, and then you get these networks like Revolt on and combine and merge together to host town halls for president candidates, and you have an actual black moderator, you now force the president candidates with the money and the means to actually talk about black issues.
Yeah. You still sound very, very muffled. I can make it out, but I'm worried that the audience cannot. I'm not sure. It just sounds very. Are we on speaker or do you have a mask on or something?
No, I'm on the phone. I'm on the regular phone.
Oh, okay. You're on the regular phone. Okay. So you're saying it comes down to black media, and if we had more black media channels that was less into the whole entertainment thing and would do town halls with conscious black moderators with a black focused agenda, that we can get what we're looking for. You're right about that.
Yes. The second thing, and I'm gonna leave it on this note. I'm gonna interpret this. Every local city needs to put a report card of issues that black issues have. So if you have a mayor coming in, you need to have a report card of the top 5 issues. And you need to say, these are non-negotiable. If you don't do these 5 issues, you will be voted out. And we just have, we do a survey with the community, and you find your top issues, and then you give them a report card, and you hold them to that report card. So you don't have, so afterwards, you don't have black people saying, my vote didn't do nothing. No, we need to hold them accountable. We need to hold them to a standard of what needs to happen. That's what companies do all the time. They have a report card, they monitor it. And so that's what I think in African Americans, in the next 4 years, we need to focus on it. Every city can do this, of mobilizing a report card to say, what are our top issues, and hold leadership to it, whether it's local, state, and federal. Executive. You need to do it all at all levels.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Great points, brother.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you for the call. Great points. I can't disagree with nothing the man just said. 100% superlative flow. Great call. Great call. Well, I mean, the substance of what he said, the call itself, the connection wasn't all that good, but hopefully you got a chance to hear what that black man just had to say. I agree with him. Number one, and again, I can't say that hasn't happened. I know BET teamed up with the Black Economic Alliance, which is a political organization, and they did some town halls. I know Just Leadership USA, they have black leadership. They did their own town hall. Of course, their perspective was just talking about, prison reforms and people who were recently incarcerated coming out. But again, I mean, in terms of what he's saying, he's 100% right. He's 100% right. Black media needs to take control of it and do it themselves. I love to see, they do a revolt conference. Puffy 15 years ago was running around talking about vote or die on T-shirts. So they should do a revolt, election debate. Conscious black moderator. All the questions are tailored to the black voter. You're right about that. But black people still give their money to CNN and CNBC and MSNBC. So I don't think that we're wrong to demand more diversity in terms of the subject matter, the questions, the comments, and also the host. But at the end of the day, I think he's right. He said that people should come up with like a top 5 list of what's important to them and then hold the elected officials accountable. Sounds like an agenda. I'm with that. Sounds great to me. It sounds like that brother is reading his Flavor Flav clock this morning. He knows exactly what time it is. Appreciate the call. 513-873-7134. I'm back inside the Chop Shop. Pat Rice, good morning. Tanika Rice, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Tracy Rice, hi. Pamela Rice, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Mason Marler Rice, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Where we at here? That sounded very low. Mason Marler writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hashtag flows ready to eat for everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Yeah, there we go. Hashtag Kamala side eye game. Hashtag hair so hard you can't feel a fly. Hashtag pink eye Pence. Hashtag family first. Hashtag don't come up missing. Tracy writes, Mason, I wish you would stop playing and we'll launch your podcast. Tracy, tell him. Tell him. And when you do it with CDM. Clue Magic writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Clue. Good to see you, brother. Kamala dusted chalkboard off-white eggshell Mike Pence. Well, let's be honest here. If I had to give you my straight up opinion about everything, and I like to do that, I keep it real with you. In my opinion, again, I feel like people walked out the same door that they came in. I know I sound like a broken record because I said it about the first presidential debate. I don't think there was any home runs per se. What I will say is that in general, I believe that undecided voters in particular, but all voters in general don't like it when the candidates don't abide by the rules. And so when Mike Pence initially started it, talking over his time and talking over the moderator, I don't think that helps him. I think it hurts him. I say the same thing about Kamala. I think that there's something about it, and we can drill down and talk about it specifically, that turns people off. It makes you feel like, okay, well, if you get the keys to power, you just go and color over the lines. You just don't care, right? I think that's a big mistake. And Mike Pence, and you can look at it and you can say his white male arrogance, his Mike Pence arrogance, is chauvinistic. You got a female moderator, you got 2 women on stage, he's going to show you who's got the penis and all this kind of stuff. You can say it's all of that. I don't think it really plays well. And there's a big divide. Like if you go to Fox News is bigging up Frank Luntz. Frank Luntz is a white male who is a pollster. And in particular, what he likes to do during the presidential election cycle is he will poll undecided voters. So he'll get a big room full of undecided voters. Sometimes they'll put a camera in there and they'll go live post-debate directly to get commentary and comments from those people. What Frank Luntz said was that Kamala Harris was a big loser, or should I say, better said, that Mike Pence was a big winner last night. And this is what he reported. He reported that the people that he talked to said that they didn't like all of this from Kamala Harris. All the side eye and making faces and looking around. That's what he claims. He claims that people didn't like this. He claims that the undecided voters that he was speaking with didn't like all these side eyes and faces and looks. And she was doing all of that last night. She really was. But, you know, that's her. She's the same thing with Joe Biden. To me, maybe it's the black in me. I didn't perceive that as being a big issue there. I think you can't go too far with it because you have to understand, family, that 75% of human communication is visual. It's nonverbal. It's the way you hold yourself. It's it's the way that your chin, your looks, your body language. Do you fiddle with your hair? You know, are you putting your hands over your mouth? You know, are you doing things like this? All of that is a tell. It all says something that people who are trained and or smart enough to pick up on it can pick up on it very, very easily. Okay, so yeah, I mean that all matters. I'm not here to tell you that the conversation that kind of nonverbal communication doesn't matter. But what do you think? You know, I made fun of it. To me, it was hilarious to me, but I'm biased. I'm straight up biased. I keep telling you that. If you're looking for somebody who's unbiased, you in the wrong place. Family, I'm super biased for us, and I'm biased against people that's on that dumb-ish. Democrats, Republicans, independent, I don't give a damn who you is, black, white. If you on some dumb-ish, Barney Fife-ish, you're going to harm the block, harm the community, I ain't got no time for you. And I'm not going to spare my wrath. I don't suffer fools lightly. I don't have time for it. So I'm super biased. And last night, I mean, there was a lot of people who fact checked, and I was doing some of that in real time last night. Mike Pence was telling some humdingers. Joe Biden's against fracking. I wish Joe Biden was against fracking from what I understand fracking to be, but he's not. He never said he was going to ban all fracking. That's not true. That's just not true. He told some humdinger about how back in the day, one of Joe Biden's aides said it was just lucky that they didn't have as many deaths with H1N1. Completely unsubstantiated. Completely unsubstantiated. So he was telling some humdingers last night. And he wasn't answering the question. That's the other thing that came up. Voters when a question was asked, and again, I thought that those questions weren't bad. My only issue with the questions from last night is that there weren't enough black questions. I'm just be selfish with it. There wasn't enough questions about me and my business and my family and my friends and the people I know. There wasn't enough questions about that. But in terms of the questions, if you're going to ask that question, I thought that they were good. I thought they were good. And one question in particular, I think that whether you're black or white or whoever, that we deserved an answer from Mike Pence was, okay, right now, the Trump administration is in court trying to destroy Obamacare. The Republicans have been issuing on Obamacare since they came up with it. What is your plan? And how are you going to protect the pre-existing conditions caveat that we have right now in Obamacare? If you don't know what that means is if you have a pre-existing condition prior to getting healthcare coverage, then the insurance provider, your potential insurance provider, cannot deny you or charge you some super high rates. People like that. It's fair. The Republicans are trying to destroy it. So what's your plan, right? He pivoted, started talking about some yabba-da-ish, and he didn't really, I take that back, he didn't really stutter a lot. He just completely started talking about something else and never answered the question. And the moderator, and I can only come to the conclusion that they must have agreed last night to not do follow-up questions on particular questions and answers. So you ask the question and then you move on. That is tying the moderator's hand behind her back. You cannot moderate a debate. In these days and times, if you don't have the cutoff switch, if the dump button is not like cursor, like mouse pad close to you, you got one hand behind your back. And if you can't ask follow-up questions, then you're not moderating a damn thing. You're just asking questions. You have to be able to follow up when you hear somebody either not answer the question or answer with some dumb ish. It is your responsibility to the audience to do so. You must do this. And so you ask a question that, and this affects all of us, black, white, well, rich, poor, sick, not sick. It makes no difference. We all have an interest in making sure that we have quality access. We have access to quality and affordable health care. And the Republicans spend too much time ishing on Obamacare for him to dodge that question. They spend too much time ishing on it, too much time criticizing it to dodge that question, in my humble opinion. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. They spend way too much time ishing on it. It's not this. It's not this. Oh, Obamacare is the worst thing ever. Well, why didn't you come up with a better idea? Because the best idea they could come up with was a compromise between the Democrats and Republicans. And guess what it's called? Obamacare. That's why they can't come up. That's why when they had an opportunity, they couldn't come up with a satisfactory replacement. Because the best compromise that modern day Democrats and Republicans, with all of the political special interests, the control of the medical industry over them, the best they could come up with Obamacare. It's a compromise. That ish ain't progressive. The hell? It's got elements, but that's not what progressive we're looking for. They still are not looking for that. That was the best compromise that Democrats and Republicans could come up with a free market, healthcare plan. That's why they can't replace it. And Mike Pence completely dodged the question. I'm pissed about that because the moderator is supposed to say, hold up, homie. Skirt. Hold on. You didn't answer the question, B. Simple as that. How hard is that? So they must have agreed, beforehand. And see, I'm that guy that when you break the rules, I break the rules. Oh, okay. How many times did she say last night, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Vice President, I ain't doing all of that. I'm going to do some of that. And then we're going to cut your mic. We're going to reset the question. And we're going to keep going. Simple as that. I mean, you can't force grown people to say what you want them to say. That's not the point. The point is that you think I'm going to look crazy? Everybody looking at me like, damn, Nate, you just going to let that go? Oh, hell no, we ain't doing that. I'm going to cut your mic. We're going to reset the question. Mr. Vice President, I'll ask again because you did not answer the question. Give him another chance. That's all you can really do. But that's a very important step that needs to happen. But let me go to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. It's Donnie B.
Hey, Donnie. Good morning. Welcome. What's going on?
So I got 3 things for the debate.
Okay.
First point is the moderator. And real talk, it's a classic example of why there's a constant conflict between white women and black women in America. Because we're supposed to be on the same side because white males are our oppressor. So you would think that we would tag team them and be on the same side on some sisterhood, women's rights stuff, but we don't. So last night, not only was the moderator trash because she had no control over Pence and his inability to keep his time, his inability to not cut Kamala off, and the questioning when he would circle back to a prior question when he was supposed to be moving on. But what disturbed me the most was actually that she tried to hold Kamala to the time limits, and she was discriminatory. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So you can let Trump both of them. You can let Pence go over his time, not answer the question, and actually apologize to this dude over and over again, which is a woman in corporate America. They teach us that women should never do, but we always do it. But when it came to Kamala, you had the audacity to try to keep her within a time limit. I'm like, sis, really? We should evolve by now. White women should have learned from Hillary and her loss of the election to Trump that they need us and they need to respect black women and work together with us for equality. And people may hate me for it, but I'm like, when RBG died, rest in peace. But she wasn't big on civil rights for African Americans either. She was big on women's rights. And white women love her because of Lillie Ledbetter and what she did for women, white women, under the Equal Pay Act, which doesn't even apply to black people. So for me, I see a lot of black people crying because RBG died and they're doing speeches. And I'm like, are you kidding me? When it comes to African Americans, RBG was trash, just like the rest of them. And I got cases to prove it. So for me, last night, what I saw was a classic white woman versus black woman and how they never stand up for us. But let Kamala Harris have been a white vice presidential candidate. Let her have been that white woman that used to be on Fox, Megan, whatever her name is, the reporter. They would have moderated differently, I feel. I'm just going to put it out there. I feel like it was discrimination, real talk. That's point number one. Point number two I have is we need to really start to take a look at these debates and figure out what our end game is with them. Because I feel like they make us feel good. I'm a black woman, so to see Kamala Harris neck rolling and basically destroying Pence on the issues and able to keep her cool in a way that Joe Biden didn't notice. She didn't tell Pence to shut up. She didn't call him a clown. She just handled him with facts and figures and kept it to the points at hand. So first of all, that's how a debate should be done. So everybody that was like, oh, Biden won the debate last week. No, Biden was trash because he couldn't keep his cool under pressure when Trump was going crazy. And so it makes me wonder, when you become president, is that how you're going to act behind closed doors? Because real talk, we're voting for Biden because he's supposed to be the moderate that knows how to work both sides of the aisle and get things done. And last week, he showed me that he doesn't know how to keep his cool when it comes to people like Trump. But that's the job. Barack got berated for 8 years as president and never lost his cool the way Biden did last week. But Kamala showed us last night how it's done. So my issue is with the debates, what is the point of them? Because it makes me feel good to see her check Pence. But at the end of the day, the goal is supposed to be to increase the number of voters and re-solidify your base. And I don't think we're increasing any votes with this. I think we all get a glass of wine, we get popcorn, we laugh and joke, we talk stuff in the chop shop. But I don't think, again, nobody won yesterday. I think everybody that was Trump and Pence remained. Everybody that's Biden-Harris remained. And we didn't move the needle at all. So I'm like, we might as well just cancel the debate. I feel like they're entertainment, but they have zero political value. That's my opinion. It's just me. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you for that. Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B. Appreciate it. That's on Friday at 12:30. I know I was just speaking there. I had my microphone off. All right. And, we can watch her podcast live on Facebook, on CDM's Facebook page, Sin Digital Media. I'll say it again. Sin Digital Media, home of the most unfiltered black voices in Cincinnati. And I can't disagree with anything that she said. I'll reiterate the whole flow. Yeah. I got it. I got your message. Thank you. Mr. Wifey, I got the message. I'm good. Thank you. And where was I? Oh, yeah. So, I like to know what black females and white females think about Donnie B's point. She took a female perspective on that, as you can imagine, a very, very valuable insight in saying that essentially she felt as if the moderator was unfair to Kamala. Do you agree with that? Do you think the moderator was unfair in the sense that Mike Pence was just running roughshod, doing whatever he wanted to do, doing his white male thing? But then she tried to drill down on Kamala. And you'll see that a lot in just interpersonal relationships. You can see that kind of same dynamic being played out in interpersonal relationships, and it is what it is. What do you think? So CNN last night, they did a poll, a flash poll of people who watched the debate and who were likely to vote. And they said in the CNN poll that they felt as if Kamala Harris won by like 20 points. Let me jump on. There's a couple of websites that I would bring to your attention. One is called Real Clear Politics. It's where everybody goes. And it's sort of like a one-stop shop for all of the political polling that happens throughout the country. And you can go there and click on polls. This is not a promo. We're not partners with Real Clear Politics at all. But, I mean, they are a resource. So we have to check this out, and you can look at that. The other is the Pew Research Center, and you can go there for a variety of different things in terms of trying to assess public opinion here in the United States on a variety of different issues. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with what Donnie had to say? We had a caller earlier who said that black people need to come up with like a list of 5 things and then hold elected officials accountable. Sounds like an agenda to me. 2 great calls, in my opinion. I can't disagree with anything I heard. But what do you think? 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts. I'm still inside the chop shop. Jericho writes, that fly was our ancestors saying, we got this. Clue Magic writes, Kamala had Pence on his back pedal. Did she? Did she? Did she? I don't know. I thought that, see, the thing about it is this, and again, I know who I'm talking to here. Like the people that rock with me on a regular basis are not low information voters. I mean, you're just like me. You're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on various media outlets. You are medium to high information voters. Okay. You know, you've been watching enough of this and paying attention to this and watching, cable news and the networks and all the shows. So you can, just like I can, spot a lie. If you're a low information voter and you don't know that Mike Pence is lying to you about multiple things, if you doubt what I'm saying, just Google. And again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what media outlet you go to, but just what you should do is just Google fact check VP debate and just go to as many different media outlets that you find to be credible and just kind of look at what some of those fact checking reporters had to say. And I did that this morning, did it last night. Of course, it was updated by this morning when I woke up. And across the board, there was a lot of similarities in the sense that, Mike Pence was telling some humdingers. Now, for me, I'm able to look at it and see it for what it is in real time. Not everyone can do that. So if you're a low information voter, you walked out of here thinking you're judging it by personality and respectability and the way they interact with one another, and not necessarily the veracity of what they actually had to say, which is a very, very important element of it. I don't know if we'll spend all morning on this. I'm on C-SPAN right now. A fly lands on Vice President Mike Pence during the vice presidential debate between Pence and Senator Harris. And listen, that's just, it is what it is, man. The internet is going to do what it does. The internet is going to do what the internet does. I don't have no problem with it. None. It comes with the territory. I love it. It's wonderful. I love the internet. I love it. All the good and all the bad. It is what it is. I'm still inside the chop shop. Facebook, I'm coming to you in just a second. That fly was Pence's familiar. Mason Marler writes, flies like Ish. Iris writes, fly Sean stole the show. NBA boy writes, hashtag disgusted at the debate. Tony writes, good morning, choppers, mute button or bust. We still got to connect, Tony, for sure, man. Mason Marler writes, speaking of Ish and flies, here's drop. It wasn't drop. It was a similar number, but it wasn't drop. Clumatic writes, D for her lack of control and her having to be checked by Kamala. Well, you got to give the moderators the tools to have control, because as a human being, you don't have no control over them. That's a U.S. senator, a sitting U.S. senator, and the sitting vice president. They don't give a damn about what the moderator has to say. I'm not going to say you're nothing to them, but you ain't got no control over them. You have no control over them. Zero. The only control you have is the dump button. It's kind of like radio. And you want to appeal to people's better half and be nice to them and be gracious as a host. You're creating this format. But at the moment in which they show you who they are, you got to do what you got to do. So moving forward, the moderators need a mute button, and it has to be, mouse pad close. Like literally, their hand is on the cursor that's sitting on the mouse pad. They click the button, it cuts the mic. They can't be one of those things where we signal the producers in the back and they scramble to hit the no. It's got to be instantaneous. The dump button has to be an extension of the moderator. And you might have to use it. And you shouldn't spare the rod at all, or you're going to lose control of the debate and people are going to look at you like you crazy. Like they looking at her right now. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Simple as that. Jace writes, LOL at Glenn. Good morning to you, Jace. Chrome lips. Nathan with the qualification, Glenn D-riding just to only threaten it later. Okay. I'm not sure all of that. CG Dub writes, good morning, choppers. Tracy writes, want. Mason Muller writes, clout chasing and QTC's in the house. NBA Hungboy writes, do your podcast, Glenn. Your clout chasing, D-ride. Whoa. We out here, man. We don't need to do all of that, man. Come on, NBA Hungboy. NBA boy, we can do better than that, man. We certainly could use a report card. Absolutely. The black firefighters used to have a report card with the black chamber. Maybe somebody will bring that back. I think it sounds like a good idea. Why not? Mike Jones writes, good morning. Flyatola Flomani writes, preach drop. Pence exposed her inadequacy of her debating. Is that right? Pence exposed her inadequacy of her debating. I don't see, really, Flomani? I didn't see any of that, man. Really? I don't see any of that. I didn't see that last night. Crystal writes, good morning, N.I. and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Brenda writes, now I'm on Facebook and YouTube. Brenda writes, good morning. Renee writes, good morning. Jane writes, good morning. Hey, good to see everybody. Sean writes, good morning, beautiful people. How can I become a patron? Well, if you'd like to become a patron, there is a link in today's description if you're on YouTube. But hold on one second, because I 100% believe in my mission, and we will be successful, no doubt about that. And your help can drive our success faster. Let me see. I'm going to post the link right here. Right there, it is. Donnie writes, so why didn't she use the mic cutoff option? I don't know. Was it actually up? I know they were talking about doing it for the presidential debates. I'm not sure. I didn't read that it was in place for the VP debates. I didn't read that. Let me see. Back up there. Back up. Yeah, so what happens is when a caller's on the line, I like to cut my mic. And I do that just because, can be very expressive. So I'm making, onomatopoeias and all kind of stuff. And I don't want that to get picked up on the microphone. I want it to be absolutely just their feed. So I'm not infallible. Sometimes I forget to click that button again. And I just keep going on with the flows. I'm into the show 100%. So thank you for, people that send me text messages. And I'm very, very, sensitive. I'm watching. As you notice, I'm always stopping, looking at text messages, because those are people that are like producers of the show. And they're letting me know about the sound quality and the visual quality and things like that. So just so you understand. Let's go to the phones. We talked them up. Let's talk to Drop. Hey, good morning, Drop. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Miss. Thank you for having me, Mr. Ivey. Good morning to all the beautiful people in the chop shop in the greater Cincinnati area and across this beautiful country we call the United States of America. Mr. Ivey, shout out to the Alt Middle and all their affiliates. Shout out to Ayatollah Flomani for quoting me. And yes, Mr. Ivey, Kamala, I'm black, y'all, Harris, looked like she was trying a case in the courtroom, or she was questioning a congressman at a congressional hearing. Mr. Ivey, the woman is gorgeous. I mean, the skin tone, the hair, the pearls, the black suit. Yes, she was looking what we perceive as what a female president would look like. But Mr. Ivey, she did not deliver. Mike Pence controlled that entire debate. He didn't dominate it like Trump did and old Sleepy Joe, but Mike Pence, he controlled the debate by Donietta Bailey said, shout out to our resident Esquire and the disgruntled former Bernie Sanders supporter. Like she pointed out that the moderator did not control Mike Pence, because what Mike Pence did, he didn't interrupt like Trump did. What Mike Pence did was he decided what question he wanted to answer. Because Susan Page, she would ask the question, and Mike Pence would just say, if he needed to follow up something that Kamala had said earlier or something totally different, Mike Pence got in and he said what he wanted to say. And Kamala Harris, she just sat back and made all those dumb faces. Again, like she was in a courtroom. Now, Mr. Ivey, I know you like everyone else on social media and on the podcast, and last night in the post-debate reviews, we're all talking about the fly. And we all know why the fly got all the attention. It was the same reason that Donald Trump got all the attention in the last debate, because the Democrat candidates failed their constituents last night. And the number one constituent in the Democrat Party, guess who, Mr. Ivey? That monolith, the Black Democrat voter. And like I say, Mr. Ivey, the Democrats have a real problem with the young Black vote, and mainly the young Black male voter. The young Black male voter feels abandoned by the Democrat Party with all their emasculating rhetoric, all their LGBTQ rhetoric, all their anti-masculinity rhetoric, parading Black men around in dresses, wearing makeup, with their eyeliner, looking better than some of these sisters around here. The young Black men in the Democrat Party are really, really thinking about walking away from the Democrats. I'm not saying they're ready to go straight GOP, but they are halfway out the door. Now, Mr. Ivey, I know you listen to Roland Martin. I know you listen to new Black media and the new Black voices on the internet and social media. So, Mr. Ivey, with 27 days to go, last night, Kamala, I'm Black Y'all Harris, did very little to close the enthusiasm gap that exists in the Democrat Party. That's all I got, sir. Is that all you need?
So you're telling, I want to make sure I clarify. So in your opinion, you think that Mike Pence, you think it was a good thing that Mike Pence was talking over the moderator, was not abiding by the rules, and didn't answer some very, very serious and real questions?
Okay, well, when you say he was talking over the moderator, the only time that occurred, the way you described it, was when he got to the time limit. And Susan Page did her part by saying, Mr. Vice President, your time is up. And Mike Pence just kept talking. He didn't break stride. He just kept talking and finished his point. Now, to me, that's not interrupting. That is typical politician talking. That's just what they do.
No, you're right. It's not interrupting. Okay. It's not respecting the rules, because it was a 2-minute time limit. So you're right. It's not interrupting, but it's not respecting the rules. It's not respecting the time frame. It's not respecting the moderator. You're saying that's a superlative, that's a good thing.
Yes. I mean, it's just like when I used to referee, Mr. Ivey, and the coach would start running his mouth. We had a signal where you would hold your hand up, palm out, and that was the signal to the coach to be quiet, right?
Right.
But most coaches, they would keep talking until you walked toward them, because that's what they wanted. They wanted to get their point out. So last night, like I said, Mike Pence looked like a seasoned politician. Kamala Harris looks like a one-term freshman senator who was a former prosecutor. She looked like she was in the courtroom. Mr. Ivey, you can't try a case in a debate. In a debate, you have to debate. Kamala Harris should have used her black girl magic, like Donnie B was saying. She should have jumped in and interrupted Mike Pence when the moderator couldn't get him to stop when his time was up. Because
and then people would have said, "Look at."
pass.
And then if she would have done that, more than likely you would have called in and said the same thing you're doing right now.
Nope.
And then undecided voters would have, because undecided voters don't like that. You know, voters in general don't like that.
No,
so
sir.
you're telling me that she should have done all of that as a woman of color, and you're saying she would have came out looking more favorable? I don't believe so. I think she did. She handled herself correctly.
Okay, first of all, yes. Okay, but first of all, Mr. Ivey, okay, there is no reason for Kamala Harris to be another Barack Obama. Okay, Barack Obama got the same criticism for the old, they go low, we go high, Mousel. We sorry. We ain't gonna get so upset. Kamala Harris, and that's what I was telling you. That's what I'm saying, Mr. Ivey. She thinks, and again, this is my observation. She blew it last night. She acted just like the first black president did, like he's scared to be black. And she would have gotten a pass. And our resident Esquire, Donnie B, she said it in the last call. She knew that the white woman wasn't going to give Kamala no support. Donnie B already knows that dynamic exists. So Kamala should have used her black card, if it hasn't expired, like Obama's has. She should have used her blackness and interrupted him, because that's what her base wants.
Well, when she was using her,
the base wanted from Barack Obama.
I disagree with you completely. And I think I don't believe what you're saying. I'll be honest with you. I think that if she had used her blackness, whatever that means, to interrupt, because you don't have to be black to interrupt somebody. Look at Pence and Trump. But you know,
you're taking that out of context.
When she used her blackness,
in the context of Barack Obama,
when she used her blackness, drop, and you said it this morning, when she used her blackness and was making faces, you said it was unbecoming of the office of the president.
No,
so
I
now
didn't.
you're trying to tell me if she used her blackness to interrupt him, then all of a sudden that would have been some kind of superlative. I think she handled herself well per the situation.
See, I can't let you do that. I did not say her making faces was a display of blackness. I said her making faces was a tactic that prosecutors and politicians use when they're in Senate hearings, because they know the camera is on them.
Yeah, but the whole, but the type of faces that she made and the way that people are perceiving it is from the perspective of a sister, because we know that stereotypically sisters do that. So she was using her blackness and you criticized her. Now you're trying to say she should have used her blackness to interrupt him, and then somehow you would have looked at that favorably. I just disagree with you. I think if she had done that, you would have came on here this morning and criticized her for doing it.
Mr. Ivey, I didn't say it. Donnie B said it. Okay, Donnie B.
I don't remember her saying that.
The black thing on yes, with her head, with her neck twisting and making all the facial expressions. That's what Donnie B said.
Nah, that's not what she said. And I'm more into what you just said. You just said earlier that when she was making all these faces, like she was in the office. And I'm just making connections to your comment about her blackness. But let me ask you this, because you're you're a Republican, right? Does it bother you that Mike Pence dodged the question about what the Trump administration is going to do, since they want to destroy Obamacare? It's the worst thing ever. When he was asked a direct question as to what is their plan to protect pre-existing conditions, he dodged it. Does that bother you that he did not answer and he dodged that question?
No, I was not surprised that he dodged that question, just like I wasn't surprised when Kamala Harris dodged the questions about packing the court and making Puerto Rico and DC states. Okay,
I didn't ask you whether you were surprised.
Were going to come up.
Did it bother you? Did it bother you that he did not answer a question that is so salient to so many millions of Americans?
Mr. Ivey, I keep telling you, sir, this is a turnout debate. There is no undecided that you have to control how you act. Oh, you don't want to upset the undecided. No, there are no undecideds. You got to give your base what they want. That's why Trump acted a fool at the last debate, because he knew that is what gets his base fired up. But last night, Kamala Harris did not do what was needed to fire her base up. And the result was the call from Donetta Bailey. Now,
I think
again,
you're misinterpreting
Mr. Ivey,
her call. But okay, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I think you're completely misinterpreting her call. But I mean, that's your flow. You're welcome to it.
All right. Well, thank you for taking my call, Mr. Ivey.
Thank you for making the call.
Everybody will be waiting for the big debate, which will be debate number 2, October 15th. A new and improved Donald Trump versus same old Sleepy Joe. That man, boy, I'm telling you. All right, Mr. Ivey, thank you.
All right, thanks for the call,
peace
brother.
out.
Take it easy. That's everybody's favorite black Republican here on the Nathan Ivey Show. He's not a Trump supporter. He'll get really upset if you say you're a Trump supporter. Drop. He is a Republican. He supports the party, as if that's the difference in these days and times. What do you think about what you've heard this morning, family? I'd love to get your thoughts at 513-873-7134. Again, I'll flash it on the screen real quick before we go to a break. All right. And remember, when you hear political ads, those are not personal endorsements. Those are promotions, right, on a media platform. I am not personally endorsing anyone, right? This is media. We'll take a quick break, family, and come right back. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. We're live. We're local, and we're vocal. Don't go anywhere.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Jill Schiller has been missing in action, and now we know why. Did you know that Jill Schiller, candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, got away with a dangerous offense? Her friends and connections at Cincinnati City Hall turned their heads when she was racing through a Cincinnati public school zone doing 52 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. She could have killed a child. As a mother of 3, that's concerning. 25,000 children are injured each year because of speeding in a school zone. 100 children are killed in school zones each year by people like Schiller. Schiller should have served 5 days in jail as the law states, but being privileged kept her out while you, the public, would have gone to jail. Her friends and connections at City Hall only fined her $60, and they quickly destroyed the evidence the next day. We cannot trust Schiller with our school children. Should we trust her to protect and safeguard our tax dollars? Vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. We can trust him to safeguard our tax dollars and our children.
Paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson. More calls for reparations. California recently assigned a task force to study the issue, and Durham, North Carolina has passed a resolution calling for the federal government to grant reparations to the descendants of enslaved Africans and African Americans. Well, targeting black joblessness could keep the Fed rate low. A Bloomberg economics analysis finds targeting reductions in the black unemployment rate would lead the Fed to keep interest rates near zero for at least 5 years. The black jobless rate has been much higher than the overall unemployment rate since 1972. Currently, the black jobless rate stands at 12.1%. The national rate is at 7%. And Comcast has promoted Dahlia Wilson-Scott to Executive Vice President and Chief Diversity Officer. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Good morning, everybody. Please like and share this live stream. If you like this kind of content, please like and share it. Your shares mean everything. Good morning to you, Nathan Ivey. The Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the black community. We talk black people, black politics, black pleasure. We talk about a lot of things, but of course that is the focus. We need it. We deserve it. We got it. Simple as that. Hey, good morning. Welcome back. Again, please like and share today's show. Your shares mean everything. And thank you to all the calls this morning. All great calls. All great calls. Sean writes, how can I become a Patriot? Well, thank you for that. I put a comment. I posted a link in the comment section on both Facebook and YouTube. And there's a couple ways. You can just take that link. You can go to nathanivey.com, click on the support tab. It'll take you straight to it. Matter of fact, let me go to nathanivey.com and show you just how easy it is right now. Very simple. Appreciate you in advance. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring that screen up. We've been talking primarily about the debates and how it impacts us and kind of taking people's, viewpoints of it. We did a watch party last night. I'm going to do a watch party throughout all the debates now at this point. I like it. But let me answer Sean's question directly. How can you become a patron? Yeah, this is my website if you haven't been to it before, nathanivey.com. And it's very user-friendly. It's got all the different, connects, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it. Right there, you click this button right there, then you can subscribe to the website itself, and you get updates whenever we update anything. And that's me. It's an older picture of me. Look a little bit different, lost a little bit of weight, but that's me. Got the music player, or should I say the media player here at the top of the website. Let me change things a little bit. Got the media player, and then some featured episodes. And, just a standard website. But let me go to the top here. You click on support, and it's going to take you, scroll down here. Boom, you got two options. You can click on one-time donation or monthly donation. Let's click on that. It's going to take you straight to my Patreon feed. Boom, here we go. There we go. Appreciate you. And there it is. It's just that simple. That's all you got to do. I appreciate you in advance. Join our mission to amplify black voices, the most unfiltered black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. Good morning to you. And it's just that simple. I appreciate you. And shout out to all my patrons and the folks that are becoming patrons now. I appreciate you. And we're going to do this together. 100%, no doubt. Iona writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Let me go back here because I don't want to miss too many of your comments. David, that's hilarious. Somebody says, please make this a meme. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people making it a meme right now. Gerald writes, good morning. Slop Turd is on the line. More toxic bullish from the left coast. Iris is hilarious. She said, black flies matter. Black flies matter. That's hilarious. Fly Sean stole the show. He did. Adele writes, hey, Nathan and Choppers. David writes, Mike Pence is his father's son. Is that right? Mike Pence plays his position because he wants to be the next president. He wants to be his next president. Even Pence couldn't cover Trump's multitude of sins. He tried very hard. Diana writes, black agenda report card. Love it. But Revolt never had a strategy. I mean, they could do that. They got the resources to make something like that happen. And they got the audience to make something like that happen. They do the Revolt conference. He might have done it. I missed it. I just can't recall it. But, to the first caller's point, I mean, there are folks that have done it. I know that BET did a partnership with the Black Economic Alliance. That's a Black Political Action Committee. And they put on presidential debates. I followed it. I highlighted it and talked about it because I'm not just talking ish. I mean it. I mean, this is something I mean to my core. So I follow it. I'm aware of what's going on around the country because it matters to me. I watched just a little bit of the red RTT is what they call it, your Red Table Talk, which I love, by the way, with everybody's favorite. Well, let's just say, with Jada Pinkett Smith, we'll put it that way. And she had Ice Cube on. I called just a part of the ad promo. And she's like, oh, this is the first time it's ever happened before. And I'm thinking, this is not the first time it's ever happened before. There are people already creating black agendas on a national level. That's not the first. There are political action committees that are focused on black people. One is the Black Pat. Google it right now. They've been out there. And, you know, if you don't know, you don't know. But I just feel like if you're going to have those kind of conversations, you should do some show prep and be aware of what the landscape is before you start donning Ice Cube as the first person to come with the idea. It is not true. I mean, I ain't issuing on them. I'm just saying for the sake of being accurate. And these are sisters-led movements as well. You got black females that have led these movements. And we're just going to overlook that because Ice Cube came up with something. I mean, props to Ice Cube. You know, I'm a fan of his work and the way he's carried himself over the years, but I cannot tell you no lies. I'm not going to tell you it's the first time I've heard of it. It's not. You know what I'm saying? She should do her homework. That's all I'm saying. Revoke could get a strike together real quick. Sean writes, what's up, choppers? Hey, good morning to you. Kelly's on YouTube. She writes, good morning. Donnie said, let's do it. She's already got 5 of them out here. First is Cincinnati Public Schools. Ooh, Sissy CPS, man. Oh, my gosh. Can't live with you, can't live without you. You know, it's kind of like that, right, when it comes to CPS. And now y'all pushing these kids back into it. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Woody writes, good morning, brother Nathan and Chopper. Stay blessed, stay safe. Same to you, brother. Ditto. D-Ray was on to something. What's up with Black News Channel, BNC? The problem with Black News Channel is that they're on cable. That's their problem. And cable is dying. If it were me, I would have done it digitally. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it. We're doing it digitally right now. From the jump, I just felt like I'm not sure if that was the best strategy. And again, it might work out. Maybe I'm wrong. I love to be wrong and they get big and we got a new Black News Channel that we can rely on. That'll be dope. But from my experience and everything that I've been researching, I'm not really sure if that's the way to go. But I mean, hey, what do I know? They got a lot of smart people getting paid a lot of money to come up with these kind of things. So what do I know? Woody writes, that fly flew to Little Penny is because that fly knew sucker ass was full of Miss Mimi's pie. Miss Minnie's pie? Oh, you want the help? Oh, you wrong for that. Here you go. It's good. Oh, I love this, Miss Minnie. I love this. Oh, let me see. Janine writes, good morning, Nathan the Choppers. Good morning to you. Leslie writes, good morning, Nathan. Last night's VP debate live on your show was fire. Thank you so much. I'm going to do it through all of them now. You know, now that I know people, it's a resource. Cool, let's keep doing it. Let's break it down in real time. And again, we had over 1,000 comments. That's a lot of comments in 90 minutes. So that tells you there's a lot of people that were really, really interested, you know, in what was going on. But let me reiterate how I feel about it, and I'll say it again. I'm not sure. In my opinion, I believe that people left that debate using the same door that they walked into the debate, meaning that if you were undecided, you're probably still undecided. Thank you so much, Iris and FG. Appreciate it. Yep. If you walked in as a Democrat, you're probably walking out a Democrat. If you walked in a Republican, you're probably walking out a Republican. It is what it is. But the problem is multiple issues. One issue is that we don't have enough third parties. We need more third party candidates to be on the stage. We're never going to have the kind of conversations that we need. We're never going to get the kind of accountability that we're looking in a 90-minute televised debate when you just got the two major political parties. That's number one. White people, black people, nobody is going to be served except for the powers that be and the special interest that have bought and paid for both the Democrat and Republican Party. Now they're cool, but you and me, we're not getting what we need because we don't have enough voices on the stage. And I'll say this again: the Commission on Presidential Election is comprised of Democrats and Republicans. Democrats and Republicans in front of the camera disagree on a whole lot of stuff, but they definitely agree on one thing, and that is suppressing the ability of a third party voice to challenge their supremacy. They agree on that. And they conspire together to jerry-rig the system, right? You hear these Democrats talking about gerrymandering because they're getting dominated in a lot of states like Ohio. But the Democrats and Republicans gerrymander and rig the presidential debate system to keep third parties off of the stage so they don't get challenged in ways that make them very, very uncomfortable. All those rules were agreed to by Democrats and Republicans. No third parties. If you doubt what I'm saying, Google it. Google it. So that's number one. So you got to understand this is what it is. It's a show on some levels. It's a show that's produced and choreographed by the Democrats and Republicans, and nobody can challenge that. So you're only going to get so much out of it. You got to understand what you're looking at going into it. And that's to the detriment of every black man, woman, and child. I love what D-Ray said. We're going to have to do our own ish. If you really want that accountability, and again, I mean, really, Puffy was running around here talking about Comcast and racism when it comes to cable channels. Okay, great. You've been giving us the Revolt Conference. Give us the Revolt political debate. That's within his. Let me go to their website right now. Maybe they're already doing it. I don't really want to dog the brother and criticize them, and they might be doing it anyway. They might be. So if you go to their website right now, Revolt, unapologetically hip hop. That's great. I know it's a music cable network, but I just feel like they should serve the needs of their audience beyond just giving them the latest hot charts, the latest dopest song, the latest dope video. That's just me. I got a different viewpoint. They're gonna do what they want to do. But let me go here right now and see if they got any. And got the nerve. So if the vote or die, so look on vote or die. They brought that back. I'm just saying. I'm on Puffy's website right now. So. Or I'm sure I say I'm on Revolt's website right now. Puffy coming up short. I mean, it wouldn't take a whole lot for a guy with the kind of money, resources, and connects of a Sean P. Diddy Combs to put together the Revolt political reform. All you got to get Jeff George to do it. He'll do a good job. Jeff George, cousin Jeff. So he live in Ohio. Get cousin Jeff to do it. You know what I'm saying? Get Roland Martin to do it. Get Jamel. What would be a good black female to do it? I mean, you could throw out Angela Rye. I think she would do a good job. Who'd be a really good black voice? You could get the sister. You can get the sister that's got her new show on MSNBC. What's her name? Joy Reid. Get Joy Reid to do it. Boom, there it is. There it is. I just gave you the moderators: cousin Jeff, Joy Reid, Nathan Ivey, and I throw myself in there, or the internet pioneer, Roland Martin. It's a lot of people out there I think would do a great job. Get them to do it. But what he did is create a website, a web page on his website called Vote or Die, where they're just posting stuff about politics. I'm happy for that. That's cool and all, but they can do so more. Dale writes, I saw comments to various threads on Facebook and Twitter that they didn't answer the questions, but Kamala answered the questions. Pence didn't answer any questions. Frank Luntz comes from a misogynistic perspective. For the most part, Kamala, as I remember, did answer all the questions. I think it was only one question where she kind of if you want to say dodged it. And I don't remember what that question was, unfortunately. So it's a bit unfair. But Pence, he dodged the number one question that he should have asked. That's why I thought the questions were not bad. The questions were not bad. I mean, you might disagree on that. To me, the questions were not bad, outside of completely overlooking the interests of black voters, because our interests are completely overlooked. But the questions were not bad. The questions, I could tell she put some thought into them. And there were questions that were designed specifically for the individual to answer based upon the context of the party, recent history, and I think things that we as voters should know. So I didn't have a issue with the question. She didn't ask no dumbass WLWT question like, say something nice about your opponent, like they did in WLWT last week during the Hamilton County Sheriff's debate. What a complete waste of time. Say something nice about your opponent. What's this, the Boy Scout debate? What the hell? Where they do that at? You got no time, and you going to ask that? That's your final question? And you don't ask Bruce Hoffbauer to explain himself as to why he killed an unarmed black man? It just goes to show you the value of that media channel. It really does. Because that question certainly came up with the NAACP and Prince Hall Masons. You already know. Well, you know what I'm saying? You already know. You cannot have a public forum. You cannot have a public debate of the Hamilton County Commissioner's race and not ask Bruce Hoffbauer that question. It don't mean that you're picking sides, but you have to ask that question in a post-George Floyd world. We need to know where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying? That might not be the only issue, people. And the fact that people are overlooking it shows the lack of value of Black lives. I'll say it again. The fact that WLWT did not ask that question during that debate shows you that the people in charge of putting the questions together don't value Black lives. They'll run around and do a story about the Black Lives mural. But when you got a chance to ask a man who killed an innocent Black man with no weapons, by the way, he had no weapons, you don't even ask him the question. It goes to show you that when the rubber meets the road, that whoever was making those decisions at WLWT here, that's a local television station, that they don't really value Black lives. Sure, they'll take some cameramen down to Plum Street and he'll videotape the Black Lives Matter mural. Oh, that's easy. Easy pleasy. But when you got this white man running for Hamilton County Sheriff who killed an unarmed Black man, y'all don't even have the balls to ask him to explain himself. That means that Black lives don't matter to them. There's no way in God's green earth that I wouldn't ask that question. I don't care where I'm at. You know it's coming up. And again, I just want to hear the answer. Maybe it makes sense. But the questions that you ask says something about what you actually value. And WLWT missed the mark. I think that the Cincinnati Enquirer is going to be doing something. We'll see. That question has to be asked. You are not worth your weight in salt if you, as a journalist, don't ask that question straight up. And of course, we broke the story here first in the Cincinnati market. It is what it is. I'm not looking for credit. I'm just looking for accountability. You know what I'm saying? Accountability. And I'm just here to tell you that there might be some news. There might be more breaking news on that. Keep watching this feed. Keep watching this feed. There might be some more breaking news. We'll see. I'm saying. I'm just saying. Alpo writes, big ass comedy skit. Is that right? Damn. That's it? Just a big ass comedy skit, Alpo? Kathy writes, great points to Donnie B. I thought so as well. Let me see. Deborah writes, that is so true. Miss Reed, she disrespected her. She didn't stand up for her. She is a Trumpster. She is weak. She never should have been up there leading no debates. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a personality thing, I think. You know, some people don't have a strong constitution, and when they're met with someone who does, then they recoil. And then it's kind of like the path of least resistance, right? I've seen that happen over and over again. Yeah, thank you so much. Where were we at the 8:33 mark? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. People saying they can't hear me. He's flowing too. I must be doing, my nonverbals must be superlative, right? I must be getting into it. I'm an introvert at heart. Anybody who knows me will tell you that, but I got different sides of me as well. Jesse is hilarious. He says, send that fly to Nathan and tell him no sound. He's saying some next level is too bad we can't hear. Let me explain. Fame writes, this NY needs a producer. Charlie Winburn listening to a great show. What's up, Mr. Winburn? Again, when people are talking, typically I like to turn the microphone off because, I can be very expressive and I'm doing onomatopoeias, which are just words that mean how they sound and sighing when so I don't want to do that in the background. And sometimes I forget to turn it back on. Got the button. Well, you can't see it, but it's right here. It's right here. Kathy writes, she was absolutely unfair. My thoughts exactly. Okay. Dale writes, on MSNBC, they felt especially Nicole Wallace said he lost suburban women last night. Somebody says we should ask the fly who won the debate last night. Janice writes, Pence lied a lot. He did lie a lot. But if you're a low information voter, then you might not pick it up initially. For us, I was doing two things. Number one, I'm kind of hip to the game. And number two, I was connected to a lot of these in real time fact checking that was going on last night. So when we were doing the live stream, I was able to tap into that as a resource to kind of buttress to educate myself on some levels and also buttress my viewpoint on other levels. So Mike Pence was telling some humdingers last night. He was holding on to it. Some humdingers. And when he wasn't telling some humdingers, it was misleading or some things, not saying completely, they lied on everything because that's not true. But there were some things that he was either lying about or in error about or was misleading or was presenting it as if it was facts and there really isn't enough available information to back it up. Let me see here. Dion writes, I'm Jure. We need a Black Agenda report card for all local elections. Dion, I agree completely. I love that first name, by the way. I love that. How? I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris, but she did good last night. I think she's responding to maybe Drop or somebody else. I'm not sure. I didn't think the big yellow flags for me in terms of voters are when you don't stick to the rules. And I think that voters and viewers are going to take that. They're going to take that as if you're arrogant and that if we put you in power, you're going to color over the lines and do what you want to do. I think that's the way people take it. Pence did a lot of that last night. I think as the debate went on, it went on so much that Kamala felt as if she had to get it in because the moderator, how many times did she say, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Vice President? I mean, she kept saying it over and over again. As a point, it just became like a broken record. And I just got tired of hearing it, right? And I just wish that they had the control that they need as a moderator to do what they got to do. So speaking of the next presidential debate, Donald Trump says that he is not going to do the next debate because it's going to be virtual. Because he's a spreader of the COVID-19. And if he can't spread it, then he doesn't want to be involved in it. Quote, I'm not going to waste my time doing a virtual debate. That's what Fox said to Fox. That's what Donald Trump said on the Fox Business show hosted by Maria Bartiromo. Yes, the Commission on Presidential Debates announced that the next presidential debate would be remote because they don't want people to get COVID-19. And it was announced earlier today. So it looks like there may be no debate. We'll have to wait and see. There could be no debate whatsoever. I give Mo Mala a slight edge in the debate. Mo Mala? Mo Mala. Kamala is great at debating. She held her own and remained calm, cool, and collected. They are only complaining about her facial expressions because she is a black woman. As women, we all do it. I mean, I do it too. We all do it. You say some dumbish, I'm like, that's my nigga, please like. That's my Negro, please look like. Huh? You know what I'm saying? Black people do that. You know what I'm saying? All people do that. You know, they hit you with the Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all niggas tripping. Remember that? I love Westbrook for that, man. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I love it. Remember, he was asked some dumbass question. He asked him like, well, did y'all win it or did he lose it? And he was like, huh? Y'all niggas tripping. Remember that? That was hilarious, man. Hilarious. I can't find it quick enough. I didn't plan on it this morning, so. That was great stuff, man. It's like, what? Y'all niggas tripping. People do that, man. Black people do it. White people do it. Black men do it. It is what it is. And then you got Trump out here. I mean, you got Drop out here talking about, well, she should have used her blackness. What does that mean, use her blackness to interrupt him? And if she had, some tells me he would have called in and said, well, she's unbecoming to be the president. See how she couldn't even control herself? Everybody said that about Trump. And then when Kamala does it, black people ain't got nothing to say. That's exactly what I think he would have said. I could be wrong, but that's exactly what I think he would have said. 100%. 100%. Let me see here. Jace writes, Pence comes across as robotic and no personality. Well, that's him trying to keep it cool, Jace. They aren't going to tag team with you against her husbands and brothers. King Cobra writes, yo, Glenn, I see cats dropping F-bombs on you, LOL. That be them Ralph Tresvant's feelings. Uh-oh. I need a man with sensitivity. Yes. We got some Ralph Tresvants in the chop shop this morning. Not a good look. Donnie writes, she did look dope. Yeah, she looked well put together. Janice writes, I'm gone. Can't stand with Drop. Really? A phone call? That's what we do. It is what it is. Fast Pitch writes, now Drop, you know the fly to voter correlation makes no sense. Yeah, we know that. Leslie writes, so Drop, you agree that VP Pence didn't follow agreements. Shaking my head right. He said it was some kind of like good thing. I'm like, wait a minute. You agreed to the rules, abide by them. People are going to extrapolate that if we give you political power, then you're going to say what you got to say to get in office and then do what you want to do once you get in office. That ain't a good reason. That's not a good way to get in office, in my opinion. Kevin writes, did Drop just say he digging drag queens? I don't know. Sean writes, how does he know what people are going to do? Donnie writes, but neither side closed the enthusiasm gap. I don't believe so either. Alicia writes, replying to Kevin, that's what I heard. That's hilarious. Sean writes, I disagree. I like Senator Harris more after seeing this debate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the one point that was brought up was comparing it to the presidential debate. I thought that was a particular weaker moment when it came to Joe Biden, when he called him a clown and, laughing. I just feel like there was a better response. You know what I'm saying? There's a better response. Let him be the clown. Let people decide whether he's being a clown or not. You should remain as poised and as on point as possible. I'm not saying you shouldn't rebuttal. I'm just saying there's a way you rebuttal that maintains your perception, maintains your dignity. And there's a way that does it in which I think that you can come across as looking bad. That's just me. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Who am I speaking with?
This is Omar.
Oh, Flo Maney. What's up, Flo Maney? What's up, Omar?
I'm good. Live from the Rotten Apple.
Yeah, live from New York, man.
Yeah,
good morning.
We about to do COVID Part 2 out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they shut down now. Pretty much on. But my main reason for calling is basically to let you know why I said Pence won that last night.
Okay, I want to hear.
It has nothing to do with facts being presented or any of that. It had to do all with the showmanship. And what I mean by that, I mean that if Kamala Harris's whole thing was to sway the unswayed voter right now, the one that's still on the fence, right? So with that being said, if she's there to sway the unswayed voter, she didn't do that last night. So she lost. And that's period. Mike Pence was very skillful at poking holes in her argument. She's a so-called prosecutor, but she didn't give me an ironclad case on why I should vote for her. And that's just the bottom line.
So she didn't move you at all?
At all. If you even look in the chop shop, those who was for her saying the same things they were saying yesterday. Those who was against her saying the same things they said yesterday. So what needle did she move? She did a Joe Ditas, basically. She came in there with a solid case. All she had to do was hit him on COVID all night, Keep the narrative right there. He did that. He kept the narrative where he wanted it the whole night. Questions be damned. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you were supposed to be doing last night, painting a picture. We all know the questions you're going to skirt, and we all know the answers to the questions that they were asking. If you got information as a voter, you already know the answers to those questions. So you're not really looking for the questions. You're looking for the narrative to be painted. You see what I'm saying? And her narrative was supposed to paint this man as an incompetent fool, but what she did is show him as a skillful debater. Because he was able to just drive her right into what he wanted to say all night. He made her disavow the green deal, and she got the green on her damn website. He made her answer what she would do different. Her answer was a bunch of stuff that is already being in place, like contact tracing and whatnot. That's already being done. Then he got her to say that, okay, what you doing ain't working. So why are you going to do it? If that's your plan going forward, why are you going with a failed plan? You see what I'm saying? So now you must be putting the incompetence on the people that is actually on the ground doing this contract tracing and stuff. Because this ain't Trump. And this ain't Pence doing all the contact tracing and all that other stuff that you just said ain't working. So if you really listen to the stuff that he was doing to her, it wasn't. I mean, you got to take the prejudice aside. If you're a person that's not looking one side or the other, and you're not feeling swayed one way or the other, you listening to what they're saying. He poked a lot of holes in her argument. Period. He just poked holes all in her argument. And as a prosecutor, you have to have an ironclad, without a shadow of doubt, argument. And she couldn't present that. And especially at the end, with the whole prosecution deal, she could have kept her mouth shut with that part. Because he didn't even have to. Okay, so you're talking about Breonna Taylor and justice for Breonna Taylor, and you're going to bring up the fact that you was a prosecutor when you got a record of never prosecuting a cop that did something crooked against black people. You got a record of over-incarcerating black people. You see what I'm saying? So she really did herself a disservice, and he jumped right on it. And what was the most telling part, he didn't even bring up the fact that you never prosecuted a cop. You know what that makes her undecided order say? Well, she agrees with him that the cop shouldn't have been prosecuted. If they know her record.
Well, you know what, it sounds to me like that you definitely got your viewpoint. But the one thing that I don't think that we have talked about or can gauge is because, I mean, I think this is all about turnout at this point, right? So will the debate last night help the turnout for the Biden-Harris ticket?
I don't think so. I think the turnout is going to be the turnout. People are already early voting. So those who are very enthusiastic are going to get out and vote. And that's already established. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what they got to hope is what they already got established is going to work for them. But at the end of the day, they're not getting no new, not off of that debate. If anything, they might have lost a few.
Mm-hmm. All right, Omar, thanks for the call, man. I didn't mean to cut you out, brother. Go right ahead.
No, I said that's all I got.
Okay. All right, man. Take it easy, man. That's Brother Omar, a.k.a. Flomani, the Ayatollah Flomani from the Chop Shop. I love the names. I'm here for all of it. He said he thinks Mike Pence won because he controlled the debate and got her to backpedal on some of the issues and talk about what he wanted her to talk about. That's one perspective. If like I said, to me, I think it's even. I mean, people walked out the door they walked into. But the other factor in this is not just swaying voters, but did it raise the intensity of voter enthusiasm to vote for them? You know what I'm saying? Did it raise is it going to make your voters turn out for you? Because this is going to be about turnout. I don't know how we gauge that. Well, let's go to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mason Marley, good morning.
Let me ask you a question. From what you saw from the debates last night, just try to be impartial here. Did Mike Pence convince any independent voter to see the Trump way? Because we keep trying to act like, what, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't have the wave of momentum behind them. I mean, people are talking about voter turnout and enthusiasm. Nate, didn't we just see, and I actually saw Hamilton County Board of Election Office previewed on like CNN and MSNBC as people excited with lines around the block saying that people are going out to vote. Right now, we have more absentee ballots and provisional ballots being cast than I think probably than any other election, Nate. So what am I missing here? I mean, you see the same things I'm seeing, aren't you? You're seeing long lines of people enthusiastically during a pandemic willing to sit there and get their vote off. Am I lying or flying, Nate?
You flying.
I mean, so, and again, the problem with Mike Pence, Donald Trump, the QTCs, the Bernie Bros and Dave, is that Donald Trump is the Republican Party's worst nightmare. I've told you this before, Nate. Donald Trump will be the doo-doo stain and Nate tighty-whities for a long time to come. They're going to have to answer for this guy. And Lord knows what's going to happen if Joe Biden actually wins and they have to investigate some of the stuff that was done behind the scenes. You can only imagine what's going to come out. We probably got more than just those Ukraine calls, Nate. We probably got a call to Oderon when we decided to go ahead and let him just slaughter what was the group that was helping us? And then I can't even think of the name right now. But you know what I mean the Kurds. Remember when he just, the Kurds. Well, so we're going to find out that that's probably tied to some, Trump hotel that he has over there in Turkey. And from what I hear, he has a Trump tower or something over there, and he got a little side deal. I told you, Letitia James was just waiting on him to lead the White House. State of New York is on him like, white on rice, black on Wesley Snipes type stuff.
Like flies on ish.
Like flies on ish. I mean, put it this way. Just a whole fly on your head sitting there for 2 minutes and you don't feel it probably threw voters off. Like, damn, that guy's hair is so hard, he can't feel a fly walking around on his head. And then he looked like he got pink eye, Nate. I said it yesterday in the watch party. He got scratched by the zombies. He's in the early stages of turning. I'm talking, you talk about chalkboard, off-white, egg white, pale white. He fits all those. With silver hair looking like the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. For all you young people out there, that's a wrestling reference. But I'm hearing these people, Nate, there isn't a single pundit out there today who actually believes that Mike Pence actually won that debate, other than Fox News and what Frank Lunt's little group. But even the CNN group was like, well, Mike Pence pretty much deflected everything. He still didn't answer the question about a woman's right to choose. Did you miss that? Oh, they won't touch that now, Nate, coming up with Amy Coney Barrett. But again, this is another example where you can go back on video, you can go back on his Twitter account and see where he specifically said, I'm putting her in there so she can overturn Roe versus Wade. What does that do for the women's vote, Nate? What does that do for the Republicans and their gender gap? It destroys it. Am I lying or flying?
I'm following you, brother. You flying.
I mean, so, like I said, man, I don't know what these other brothers are watching. Maybe it's QAnon. And did you see that Facebook completely banned them from putting political ads up? Have you seen that?
I did see that, yeah. QAnon. This conspiracy that somehow Donald Trump is secretly leading a war against these pedophiles and the Democrats and the Republicans and Hollywood celebrities. And what? It's ridiculous, but when people are afraid, as a lot of people are right now, insecure, they'll start to believe a lot of things. And a lot of people want to be connected to something. They want to feel a part of something. So QAnon gives them something to kill two birds with one stone. Feel secure, get some kind of understanding of the world around them, and feel like they're a part of some kind of greater mission.
Well, I guess you can call them the alt QAnons. I mean, we already had a crazy guy go up into some pizzeria up in New Jersey, New York. I'm sure Flemani heard about it. Yeah, thinking that there's actually like a pizzeria where they got little kids in cages, taking their skin or something away. Yeah. He actually believed that stuff and came in blasted.
Yeah, it's real.
I mean, that's real. So let me get back to work, man. But yeah, I keep hearing these people talk about the enthusiasm gap, and I hear Drop Zone talking about young black males. Let me say this, and I don't care if it's young black males, young white males, burning young males, burning young voters. Guess what young people kind of not do? They talk a lot of stuff, but they kind of don't show up to the voting place. Am I lying or flying, Nate?
I think those numbers are changing, but
They
traditionally,
should be.
I think that you're right about that. But I think those numbers are changing.
They are changing, Nate, and they will change, but that all precipitated what's happening this year. With what's happening with what we're seeing on video, our snuff tape. And we said from day one, this is a lot different than before. You got just about every color in the rainbow out there in the street. So I think you're right. I hope those numbers are big, but is there any doubt that, I don't know, I would say just being impartial, 98% of those people out there in the streets, they're not voting for Donald Trump and Mike Pence, Nate. Are you willing to put money down on that? I will.
Nah, I'm good.
Right, you know what I mean? They're not putting money on Donald Trump and Mike Pence, the same guys that decided to clear Lafayette Park so we can go hold a Bible upside down. You feel me? Upside down. And then they asked the president, Mr. President, is that your Bible? He said, a Bible. You don't get somebody for their Bible.
He said this a Bible. He did.
He said a Bible.
Trump is a mess, man, completely.
Complete mess. So, yeah. They act like he's going to get, what they say, Donald Trump is going to get 30% of the black vote. Nate, do you know, like, 3 people other than, like, people in the chop shop that support Donald Trump? Because I don't. I mean, we know the same radio callers, we know the same choppers, we know the same QTC, and that's about it.
I only know one person that's openly going to vote for Trump, and he lives in California.
And he's like the chop shop jester, but hey, like you said, everybody got an opinion.
Everybody got an opinion.
Let me try to get back.
Chairman
Let
Mom,
me try to get back to work.
did
Hell, I
in
just gave
2016.
my opinion, and I appreciate you taking my call, man.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Didn't mean to
Yeah,
talk over the brothers. He was leaving, but Chairman Mom, I don't know what she did in 2016. My spider sense goes up when we talk about Trump. She was on some anybody with Hillary type stuff. I'm like, huh? Ma? Chairman Ma? My mother. Yeah. Some people can get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the apple does fall from the tree. Sometimes. I'm like, you did what, Ma? What? Why? Why would you do that? Oh, we're getting a call. Let's see who's on the line. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hello, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Is this Brother Fame?
It is.
Hey, welcome, Brother Fame. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to point out that the man bleep stays.
The what now?
the man, the previous caller mentioned bleep stains on the podcast early in the morning.
Really?
This man is dementia.
I must have missed it. What did he say now?
Did he not say doodle stains?
Oh.
Bleep stains?
Did he say bleep or did he actually use the word? I don't know. Maybe he did.
You weren't listening to that trash.
I didn't hear it.
Right. He said the word. I just want to point out, in the last 90 days, that man has referenced 4 other men's genitalia and somebody else's grunt stains.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Thank you for pointing that out.
And I thought Brother Flomani was spot on. You know, he was talking about Kamala because, like the previous caller mentioned, Dusty Rhodes, like Ric Flair says, you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man. You didn't win that debate. You know, at best you got a tie. You didn't win it, but I mean, it doesn't matter to me because I want to vote. You know, I'm trying to get rid of Trump out of here. You know, get him the F up out of here. You know, so it doesn't matter to me. But the people you need to sway, there's no way they could say you won. You see what I'm saying? I thought he was spot on with what he was saying.
Makes me wonder. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your flows.
No, what were you saying?
It just makes me wonder, what does a win in a debate look like? Like, how could she have
talking
won?
about your rhetoric and your poise, not a fly in your stares.
Well, you got
and that goes back to Donnie B's call. I mean, she's been given, like I said, you mentioned something I said last night. Like I said last night, she's been given the keys to a Bentley. Don't crash it.
Again,
it's not hard to bring this thing home. But last night you didn't kind of bring it home.
And what would bringing it home have looked like is what I'm trying to get to.
Like I said, the rhetoric the next day. Not dudes fly, not her stares. Things like that. That type of thing. I will admit, the brother said that wasn't a fly, it was a micro drone or whatever. I kind of thought that the way it was just sitting there the whole time, like, okay, it's not moving. At some point that fly would realize it got something, it, tasted something it didn't like, realized it, whatever, and got up and flew away. That did kind of cross my mind last night. But, yeah, she's just not, I mean, she's just maintaining. She's not really trying to win. It's like, playing prevent defense almost. And when you play prevent defense, it only prevents you from winning, is the old football saying.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't feel any, what's the word I'm looking for? Chutzpah. I just didn't really feel that energy. Like, this is a good candidate. She's doing the right thing. This is the person we need.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But in spite of all that, I still got to rock with her. For this one. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got, B. I was just amazed that man said that on a podcast. It sounded like he said nothing, but he said that type of stain. But it sounded like he used somebody's name, and I'm just like, nah, I didn't hear that. But okay. But yeah, man, that's all I got, B. It's been real, Nathan. I had fun.
So did I.
And we'll do this again someday. All right?
Absolutely. Take it easy. That's Brother Fame. Yeah, it just went over my head. I didn't even register it. I'm sorry. I missed that. Again, it makes me wonder from hearing some of these comments, what is a win in a debate? Like, I don't believe in the Perry Mason moment. Remember that show, Perry Mason? When I was younger, my grandparents used to watch that. It was all black and white, and it was about this lawyer who would be trying these cases. And the Perry Mason moment was like, he would get in court, and he was just such a great lawyer. He was such a great litigator. He was so great, gifted with the gift of gab, right? That he would get people to incriminate themselves on the witness stand. So you got some dude that offed his business partner and pulled off the perfect murder, right? And then Perry Mason, in front of everybody with the judge sitting there, would get him just through a series of just questions, and his devastating logic would get these people to incriminate themselves. I don't believe that. That's rare. Typically when that happens, it's because the person themselves slips on a banana peel. Like, I mean, I'm not saying, that you can't set the table for it, but that's very rare. You should never prepare for that. That's very, very rare. Most of these people are very intelligent people that have a lot of people that get paid tens of thousands, $100,000 to prepare them for debates. They're prepared for that. Right? So, like, what would be a win? Like, if Mike Pence just didn't answer, he started stammering, and, well, you're right about that. You're right about that. He's not going to do that. Even if he's dead wrong, he's going to say he's right. He's not going to do that. To me, I look at it as do they answer the questions? How do they answer the questions? The truthfulness of their answers, things like that. So how could Kamala have won? Is it even possible to win such a thing? I don't know. Something to think about. It's 9:39. I got to make a move, family. We keep right back. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community. Live, local, and vocal from Greater Cincinnati. We'll be right back.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Jill Schiller has been missing in action, and now we know why. Did you know that Jill Schiller, candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, got away with a dangerous offense? Her friends and connections at Cincinnati City Hall turned their heads when she was racing through a Cincinnati public school zone doing 52 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. She could have killed a child. As a mother of 3, that's concerning. 25,000 children are injured each year because of speeding in a school zone. 100 children are killed in school zones each year by people like Schiller. Schiller should have served 5 days in jail as the law states, but being privileged kept her out while you, the public, would have gone to jail. Her friends and connections at City Hall only fined her $60, and they quickly destroyed the evidence the next day. We cannot trust Schiller with our school children. Should we trust her to protect and safeguard our tax dollars? Vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. We can trust him to safeguard our tax dollars and our children.
Paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson. More calls for reparations. California recently assigned a task force to study the issue, and Durham, North Carolina has passed a resolution calling for the federal government to grant reparations to the descendants of enslaved Africans and African Americans. Well, targeting Black joblessness could keep the Fed rate low. A Bloomberg economics analysis finds targeting reductions in the Black unemployment rate would lead the Fed to keep interest rates near zero for at least 5 years. The Black jobless rate has been much higher than the overall unemployment rate since 1972. Currently, the Black jobless rate stands at 12.1%. The national rate is at 7%. And Comcast has promoted Dahlia Wilson-Scott to Executive Vice President and Chief Diversity Officer. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Get ready to be engaged. Get ready to be informed. Get ready to be a lion. Get ready to be enraged by the man City Beat magazine called a talk radio rebel. And your host. Now back to the show.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome back. I hope your day is starting off okay. Hopefully it's starting off great. Great to be with you. I want to remind you, coming up today at 1 p.m., you've got Midday Juice, hosted by Ask Ashley, at 1 p.m. today, every Tuesday and Thursday. You can watch it live on Facebook at CDM's page, Sin Digital Media. Good morning. Our mission is to amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. Good morning to you. Then, of course, tomorrow, make sure you check out the Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B at 12:30 p.m. And Donnie is going to be fresh off of hosting the NAACP Prince Hall Masons Forum this week. So I'm sure she'll have some insights to share about that. And shout out to the NAACP and all the folks out there and the Prince Hall's Masons for their efforts in trying to educate, our community. Got all these judges. Man, you don't know who was who unless you got some insight. Well, she does. They do. Make sure you check it out. It continues, too. They're going to be doing it next week and throughout the month of October. And if we're connected on social media, just watch the pages where I am, and I'll be sharing it as well. So you can get that information. And I didn't watch all of it last night. From what I understand from the comments and the last part that I got into, I'm going to circle back around and check that out. Apparently, there is a huge difference there is a difference in those two candidates that were a part of forum last night. You can go to, if you're wondering, like, Nate, can I watch it? Yeah, you can go to the Cincinnati NAACP's Facebook page, go to videos, and watch all the forums. And you should. If you haven't already done so, you should. Just take a little bit of time. Maybe you don't want to watch it all. I would say watch as much as you got time for. Kind of jump around and get a sense of who these people are. Connect the face and the voice and what they stand for to their name prior to early voting. Speaking of early voting, the show might be doing something in terms of early voting later in October over at the Board of Elections. I'll give you more details. It just came to me yesterday. Perhaps we can early vote together, something like that. But I want to do my part to help promote voting efforts here in the Cincinnati area, here in Hamilton County. So I'll give you more details. Just give you a heads up. I'm looking at a date on the calendar of the 24th, which is 2 weeks from this Saturday. So, your boy might be doing a live broadcast from the Board of Elections, but I'll give you more details. What debate was he watching? Pence did not answer any of the questions, and that's winning to you? You set the bar real low. Again, people have different perspectives. To me, if you don't answer questions, you can't win a debate. You know what I'm saying? And what does winning a debate mean? Again, as I told you before, I don't plan for, when I'm planning for interviews that may be adversarial, I'm never planning for a Perry Mason moment. I'm not that arrogant to believe that, this question's going to get them. Yeah, I don't plan for that. I just ask the questions that I think are necessary and hold people accountable, period. If they do some old Scooby-Doo type stuff, some Scooby-Scrappy-Doo type stuff, some Scooby and Shaggy type of stuff, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that you can, as a moderator or an interviewer, you can't plan for that. Now, it can happen, but typically when it happens because the person does some dumbish and they slip on a banana peel. It's usually on them. And if you don't know, never seen, you like, what Perry Mason? I mean, it's an old school black and white show that I can kind of remember the gist of it. My grandparents used to watch it when I was younger. And he was a litigator. He was a lawyer. And he would go into court, into the courtroom, and people would dissolve on the witness stand. Like, you up here fighting for your life. It's like you either going home or you're going to be charged with capital murder. And these mofos, he had them all mixed up like, what I meant was, and they end up incriminating themselves. Does that really happen? I'm sure it has happened, but something tells me it's rare. Most people are not that dumb. So what does that mean, win the debate? I think it's people's impression, is what they bring to it and what they take out of it. So it's almost as if, like, when they do these debates, the number one thing you're trying to do is to not lose ground. That's the number one thing that's almost like the best way to look at it. Because these aha moments, it's happened. I mean, I remember Mitt Romney was going hard about Obama on some dumb ish and how they was trying to, detooth or defang the military, which wasn't true. And then Obama hit him with that line about we got more cannons and bayonets or something like that. Everybody remember like, and you go way, way back to Ronald Reagan when he said, I'm not going to bring I'm not going to make age an issue in this debate. And he kind of turned it around because he was at that point the oldest person to have won and to become president. So age was an issue. He had a much younger candidate. So he turned it around and was like, you know what, Mr. Moderator, I'm not going to make age an issue in the debate. Like, as in the age of his opponent being less experienced than him. And everybody was like, big moment, right? I mean, Donald Trump with Hillary Clinton, when he said, well, it's a good thing because if I was president, you'd be in jail. Like, people remember those kind of things, but that doesn't mean that you win the debate. From the people's standpoint, as a voter, I'm looking for substance. I'm looking for you to answer the questions in a way that's meaningful, to propose policy that's meaningful, not just, have a catchy one-liner. But that's why I say these are nothing more than debate shows. This is a show that is produced by the Democrats and the Republicans. I'm just saying. Let me see. Tony writes, she was too busy not trying not to be the mad woman, which I think is smart because that's how black women can be perceived. We all know it. If she would have been calling him a clown and all this kind of stuff like Joe Biden was, people would have perceived it differently. Facts on facts on facts on facts. Everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? That's just the truth. Yeah. Let me see. The answers Americans wanted from the White House did not get from Pence. Woody writes, he sounds like a Bernie bot. Donnie writes, I didn't get answers from Kamala on the stuff that matters to me either. She was entertaining, but no substance. Let me see. Y'all realize Trump Biden is the incumbent. We have more absentee ballots because of COVID. Deborah writes, I voted early yesterday at the Board of Elections in Norwood. Woody writes, the Dropbox line was long yesterday. Nat writes, VP debates aren't typical game changers. Trump will get fired in 20 plus days. It is what it is. Brian writes, I voted yesterday and it went pretty fast. TNT writes, at some point, black Republicans have to get offended when the party is clearly trying to insult the intelligence of the American people. We don't like liars. We don't like racists. We don't like dividers. We don't like evaders. Who cares what the media says about who won? You have to hit the streets and ask the voters. Let me see here. TNT writes, Biden has a clear lead. Last night debate only add to the momentum for the Biden-Harris ticket. Pence had an opportunity to tell the truth to the American people, and he chose to lie and deflect, which shows he has no integrity like his running mate. Could be. Yeah. Kevin writes, the thing is, in the 80s, the concept of a mandatory sentence was supposed to be about fairness. No matter who you are, you get the same sentence. DJ Pillow's in the house. He writes, do you feel me? Hey, good to see you, DJ Pillow. What's up? What's up? Hindsight is 2020, literally. Who cares? Focus on the issues. Oh, the irony, the Trumpster in Cali. Let me see. I'm trying to flash forward here. Tony writes right. Tony writes, not trying to be the mad woman appearance. Marcus is in the house. Good to see you, Marcus. Letty writes, the debate was weak. Yep, great point. Fame is on point. Debate didn't move. And he's right. Kamala is maintaining. The grinning and all the smiling was... Anthony writes, Columbo. Columbo was a lot better. I mean, he would just deduce it, right? He would just put it together. He was like one of those guys you never saw coming. He's coming in, he's all disheveled, his tie's backward. He's got a mustard stain on his trench coat. His hair's all just like he just got out of bed, and his one eye's looking this way, the other eye's looking that way. And people just write him off, and they think they got away with murder. And then in 15 minutes later, what you realize that when he walked in, he was deducing all kind of stuff. I like Columbo. Dominique, what's up, minister? He is on YouTube. He writes, what's up, Nate? Jack Frost writes, hard for her to step on a snake's head or tail. Try it. True. Judge Patrick Dinkelacker, who carried out the sentence against Judge Hunter and Christian Jenkins, was yesterday, and Dinkelacker was unapologetic and high on arrogance. Was he? Brent writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers, checking in from Dallas, Texas. Was he? Letty writes, answer every question the moderator ask without disrespecting individuals and provide additional information if time allows it. Hold on, we got another call coming in. We got John from Florida on the line. Let's go straight to him. Our time is almost over. I'm out of here at 10, so you got me for 6 more minutes. It's a lot of stuff going on. Virtual learning today with my son, who's in kindergarten. And, of course, midday juice coming up at 1 o'clock. I got to make sure we're ready. Let's go straight to the phones. Hey, good morning, John. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as the good people around the world and the Choppers. Let's get right to it. Yes, I've listened to you and dropped and various other callers calling. about that so-called debate. Well, it was okay. I wasn't going to watch the whole thing, but I wind up watching about 99% of it. Other than the fly, which was distracting, I guess that's all the media is talking about this morning. But, she was stern. She was on top of her game. She was answering the proper questions, and with him trying to deflect and cut her off every now and then. But it was aggravating because he wouldn't answer a lot of questions. Simple as that. He wasn't answering the question. He's like a robot to me, talking head. I know he's dancing to his hillbilly bass up in the mountains, but he was just aggravating to me. I wanted to take my shoe and throw it at the TV because he wasn't answering none of the questions. So, but other than that, it is what it is. You heard me say it many times. This is all about if Biden gets in, she will step right into the presidency. That's what this is all about. And I told you, Biden, if he gets in, he's lucky if he finishes 2 years. I don't think he's going to finish 2 years. She'll come in and she'll appoint a vice president. So, the Republicans see where it's going, that they have to try to deflect and destroy as much as possible. Talking heads, he wasn't saying nothing but the same dribble and preaching to the choir. So, as we looked at this debate, it's historic, if you want to say, on her end. But it's all about slowing her down as much as possible. You knew what you were going to get from that guy, and we just finally got a chance to see him for what he is. He got to deflect and point fingers, but he didn't answer mostly none of the questions. Other than he was like a robot to me, and the fly was distracting. Other than that, it is what it is. We will wait for the next 3 or 4 weeks to see who the next president is going to be. What did you get out of it, basically, overall?
Overall, John, I felt like it didn't really move a lot of people. If you were an independent, you're still an independent, undecided. If you're a Democrat, you're still a Democrat. If you're a Republican, you're still a Republican. That was my overall impression of it. My overall impression is that I feel like black voter issues were not properly discussed, the issues that matter most to black voters. I feel like in general, all voters are not getting what we need because the presidential debates are dominated by the two major parties, Democrat and Republican. They conspire against allowing third-party voices to rise to the level to challenge them, to the detriment of the conversation, the policy, and, the overall, resourcefulness of these kind of events. Those are my general impressions.
Well, I must say I do agree with you 110%, other than bringing up almost the last two questions talking about violence and the protestings and all that. We know what his response is going to be. He's protecting the police. He deflected from that, too. But and I do agree with you. Our issues was not being covered on even the first debate with those two characters a week ago. And my whole thing is reparation, and it's not going to be addressed. So it's going to come down to if Biden gets in there dealing with reparation, I know what I'm going to get from him. Oh, we got to have a study. We got to put together a committee. Bull crap. How much committees do you need dealing with reparation? All the information is right in front of us. So, okay, if you want to appoint a group to figure out how to settle reparation, but I don't want to see it drag out for 4 years and not be addressed, because that's what's going to be the deflection. But it comes down to us as a people, black people. You've been sitting back, whining. What did Barack Obama say? Get off the couch. Put your slippers on. Stop whining and complaining. Yeah, that's what we've been doing for over 200 years. Whining and complaining. Some of us are followers. We're not leaders. Some of us are leaders and some of us are followers. And unless black people demand, like they're doing, the young kids are doing it today. Well, I'm happy to see that. I'm glad they are out there marching, because the older groups, elite blacks, are doing nothing but sitting back, waiting for the check to be handed out. And they'll be knocking me and you down, and the young kids that have been on the front lines doing what they're supposed to do. So, but we'll deal with that. So let's see how this plays out. 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks, it'll determine who's going to be the next president. But I kind of feel This is playing out, Nathan, like 2016. That rat in the White House is going to steal this election. That's my gut feeling. I felt that 2016, the night before I went to bed. I said, he's going to walk into the White House. This election is close. So he is coming up with anything he can to steal this election. And if that happens, all hell in this country will break out. The revolution will be televised. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. I'm fond of saying that the revolution will be digitized. Let me leave you with a few final thoughts before we leave. Some news. Former MPD officer Derek Chauvin, that's the man who had his knee on the neck of George Floyd, charged with George Floyd's death, was released from custody, family, on a $1 million bond. It's amazing to me that when these police officers, again, at this point, he's innocent until proven guilty, but we saw the video. He did perpetrate this crime. Will he be found convicted and guilty of it? We'll have to figure it out. But a $1 million bond. Now, where did a police officer come up with that? A $1 million bond. What in the hell? So he's out walking around free. Like I told you, there's people out there willing to pay up with the dollars. I thought one interesting moment from last night's debate was when Kamala Harris said that she would not take a Trump-recommended vaccine. When she was asked the question directly, she didn't dodge. She said, if it comes from Dr. Fauci or the medical professionals, yeah, I'll be first in line. But just because Donald Trump says that, hell no. I thought that was a real moment last night. I thought that was a super real moment. I ain't doing that. We ain't doing that because people don't trust Donald Trump. It is what it is. That is my time, family. I got to make a move. Like I said, my son is in digital learning and I am his father. I am his daddy and I got to make sure he's tight. And of course, the wifey is working from home. So I've got to say, this is the end of the program. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:30 a.m. We'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure. Black people, black politics, black pleasure. Again, the Nathan Ivey Show is Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the black community. And also make sure you check out Midday Juice today at 1 p.m. with Ask Ashley. Should we talk about numerous things? Let me check here. I can tell you what her question is going to be. Dear Ashley, I struggle with dating a lot. It's hard to tell when it's okay to give and when it's okay to take. When should I allow myself to open up versus when should I keep a wall up to make a guy see my work? That's her question today. If you've got any questions, then you can always email Ask Ashley. I'll give you her email address real quick. It's 1, Ask Ashley, ASHLEE@gmail.com. And listen, family, we're trying to build this platform. So when you see the post go up, please like and share it. Your like and shares mean everything. I'll leave you with that. I'm Nathan Ivey. We'll talk again tomorrow morning. Viva La Choppers. Viva the Chop Shop. Shout out to Team and I'm out.
Yeah.